Welcome everybody to episode. I guess this is 12 of the Next Gen Cal podcast. We're really excited this week to have the one and only Reid Hunter on. So welcome, Reid,
You bet. Thanks, Mitch.
for sure. Where did you kind of get your start, Reid, in the cattle industry and livestock in general?
I got my start back home. I'm originally from BC. My family, we mainly have a dairy farm there, but have about a 30 to 40 head cow calf operation, and that's kind of always been what intrigued me over the dairy. Kind of always been more interested in the beef side of things, so from there, kind of got into 4-H a bit, started showing steers. Not super competitive, but kind of had fun with it from a young age, and then kind of as I grew, got more and more into it.
For sure, for sure. What do you think kind of started your like passion for it to begin with? Just kind of growing up with it, or
I've always been pretty passionate about the livestock, not just showing, but whether it's just chores, checking the herd, feeding them, whatever. Always been pretty passionate about that. And then in the showing, I think it was my third or my fourth year showing a steer. I was probably 11 or 12. My parents started AIing like just commercial cows to see what we could get. And the one year I got a fairly good steer and did all right with him down in BC. And that kind of just got me all bowed up about the whole deal. And from there, we just kept AIing more and more. And I kept, just doing my research. And that's the genetics played a big part in me uh, kind of getting interested in the whole show deal. Kind of, just seeing what I can make, mix and match kind of.
sure? Do you ever show any dairy cows growing up, or no?
No, I've never shown any dairy cows. There was a dairy 4-H club in BC. It was a ways away from me, and that's kind of my parents thought it was too far, and I was pretty happy about it because I was wanting to show beef anyways rather than
Yeah,
dairy.
yeah, for sure, for sure. What I guess you kind of already touched a little bit on what your operation looks like at home, but how many cows would you milk there?
Milking at home is anywhere from like 160 to 170 milking in the barn at a time. So we probably have around 200 cows that'll obviously, when they're soon to calve, they'll get kicked out and then stay with their calves for a little bit. But um, more so with the beef stuff, it's my parents have played a pretty big role in it because um, working away from home and trying to learn and grow. It's kind of funny because I'll just text my parents or call my parents and say, "Hey, this cow's coming home. I got this," or um, "This person's coming to pick up this cow." And my parents have been really supportive over that. And then I've also got a couple here at Cords, and I was also fortunate enough they let me put in a couple embryos here, so I've got some of them on the way here, and
Awesome,
yeah, kind of all over the place right now, but
for
getting it
sure.
together slowly.
Yeah, and like what kind of long term you think going back home is kind of what you want to do, or kind of move the operation to KR, or what do you think?
Uh, I don't really have my sights set on anything yet. Kind of just trying to look at the foreseeable future and take things as they come. I'd be more than happy staying in BC. I feel the industry is kind of, well, the beef industry is a bit stronger out here. And I think I do like it quite a bit better in Alberta. But yeah, not too sure where I'm going to end up yet.
For sure, fair enough. You got lots of time. You're still young.
Yeah. Yeah.
What uh, what do you think kind of the biggest challenge you've kind of faced so far between, I guess like I know it's not quite as big of a move, but it's still a decent sized move to kind of move from, BC to here. What do you think kind of the biggest challenges that you felt kind of making the move?
Yeah, obviously it was pretty tough moving away from home. I mean, being on a dairy, I'd like really never left home other than like a little couple day long trip here or there. But yeah, it was the first month here I was at Cords. I was like thinking about it, and I'd like really never been away from home for that long, and then just staying out here, and it's been. I mean, I love it out here, but probably some of the biggest challenges I've faced, just coming from a dairy and my parents not really showing any beef animals as like they grew up. Like we really had no idea what we were doing when we started, and we were fortunate enough there was quite a few uh, families that were willing to help out and kind of show us the ropes. Um,
For sure.
but yeah, probably just getting my start in it, get my foot in the door, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess kind of this next question kind of goes with that pretty well is kind of talk about, I guess for you it'd be a pretty big deal, coming from BC and, coming from a family that didn't really grow up showing a lot of beef cattle, I guess. Talk about the win in Calgary this year maybe and kind of the story of that steer and kind of some of the feels that would go with that.
Yeah, man, that was pretty surreal. Definitely, I mean, did not have those expectations whatsoever. Me and Cord kind of just uh, had the can-do attitude and gave it our best shot. I mean, um, I first got to Cords that previous summer. I got here summer of 2024, right after Calgary, and then looking at the sale calves and Chuck Wall Street, we called the steer. He was he was always kind of that steer, like he stood off, and he probably wasn't the best looking sale time, but there was always that, like, what if he did this? What, like, if he changed this and changed that? I mean,
For
he would
sure.
be perfect. And he
A little
kind
bit of
of,
a sleeper.
yeah, he did all the things we asked him to do. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do it without Cord and Casey and the whole KR crew and family. And I mean, they were huge supporters. My parents were huge supporters. And uh, yeah, I mean, stars kind of aligned with that steer. It was a lot of fun.
For sure. If you could use one word to describe that moment, whether it's like coming out and seeing everyone after you won or getting to hold the check or, the slap, what do you think that word would be?
I mean, I was just astonished, like in shock, disbelief. Uh, I mean, just overwhelming appreciation. I remember she was kind of when she was walking around to select the champion. I couldn't find Cord in the crowd, and I kept looking and looking, and I couldn't find him. And then I mean, she came up and she slapped the steer, and then automatically, Cord was right there in the crowd, and I saw Cord, and he was kind of tearing up, and then walked into place, and I was just like, oh my God, this really happened. And I mean, it was
For
just
sure.
yeah, my family got to come out from BC, so it was, I mean, couldn't have been any better. It was amazing.
For sure. Kind of, I guess in the same, I'll put this into the same question. I guess the same, I guess probably kind of the same feels in winning Regina Supreme, I guess, with Tremor, right?
Oh yeah, it was, I mean, I was so happy for the whole Phillips crew. I mean, they've been pretty dang hard at it, and I'm like they got some, I think, some outstanding Shar cattle. And uh I mean, to see it just all come together and the Supreme happen. I mean, Casey was doing an awesome job on the stick. It was kind of funny. I mean, him and Tremor got along pretty well. And uh yeah, I don't know, the Supreme win was kind of crazy. I mean, I remember you and Cord just, it went blank when he got slapped, and then I looked behind me and you and Cord were just jumping up and down, and I was like, holy cow, this really happened.
Yeah. Oh man, it's crazy. Yeah. Like I've been lucky enough to I was part of both this year, the female and with Tremor, and it's like one of those things. It's even when I was a kid, right? I always dreamed of getting to like help on one or be a part of one, and then I think last year, or I guess this past year, being a part of both, and then and with you guys too, right? Like you guys are buddies, and the friends crew
Yeah.
are buddies too. But like crap, we'll come over and drink beers with you guys or go for supper or whatever, and it's yeah, pretty cool for everyone involved, I think, and shout out to the KR crew. I guess all of you
Yeah.
guys do a great job for sure.
Yeah, it was kind of surreal. You had a hell of a or heck of a run here with the all the Supreme wins you had this year.
Yeah, it's been good, man. It's humbling for sure, and it's yeah, my younger self would definitely be pretty excited for sure. Not that I'm not
Yeah.
excited. But it's yeah, big picture, I guess. Kind of taking a
Yeah,
step
no
back and
kidding.
kind of realizing how far you've come for sure. Yeah, exactly for sure. And with podcasts and cattle at home and stuff, it's definitely all coming together for sure. So,
Yeah,
what's
there you
one
go.
thing you think you would say to your younger self if you could?
Uh, I'd probably tell my younger self just don't be afraid to fail. I was kind of trying to be a perfectionist as a kid, and I missed out on a lot of opportunities just thinking like I wasn't good enough or I was going to mess it up if I went and tried to do it. I just tell my younger self, like, have at it. Just try your best at what you do. And I mean, don't be afraid to mess up. Everyone does it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that just kind of goes with being younger too, right? And maybe not having the same desires you do now and the same ambition now to kind of step out of your comfort zone for anybody and kind of take a risk and just yeah, put yourself out there to fail. And like the best thing about failing is you're always going to learn something, right? Whether it's a hard lesson to learn or maybe one that's not as hard, but it's yeah, definitely. If I think I'd probably be the same. Just put yourself out there and take those risks, and be willing to fail, and kind of be able to ask yourself after, like, what can you do next time to make make yourself more successful or whatever it may be for sure.
Yeah, you bet. And it was, I don't know whether it was just me caring too much what I thought people were going to think about me or whatever, but highly recommend just giving it all.
For sure, 100%, man. Um, so this is a new question I kind of came up with here the other day when I was doing chores. But if you had to get a group of legends to help you work on an animal, who would they be?
This one kind of stumped me there because I don't know. There's so many unreal guys out there, and it's kind of at the point where, um, I mean, everything's just so perfect that they do. It's kind of hard to split hairs, but some that I picked out, Bart Herman, he's kind of always helped the G bar fit. He's uh, he's unreal. He's, I mean, I've never really seen him do anything that I said, oh, maybe he should have done this or maybe he should have done that. He's kind of always just dialed him in. Cole Atkinson, he's kind of the head guy at Conley's there, and Cord introduced me to him at OIE last year, and um, he's, I mean, same thing. He's just dials him in. Uh, Clayton Weatherly, he helped at Griswold's last summer and last winter a bit through the sale, and I've gotten to know him a little bit, and he's kind of always just been good at it. Him and Cole actually, they used to work at Fusses together, and they've kind of, I don't know, uh, kind of some of the top guys, I think. And then I'd probably also fit Cord in there somewhere.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Maybe just touch on there, Reid, about working for Griswold's and how that kind of came to be as well.
Yeah, that was I mean, pretty cool opportunity. I graduated high school early, and I went to university for welding, and I really liked welding. Still really do enjoy welding. I do a bit of it here and there, and but when I finished school, I was about to get a full-time job welding, and I don't know, I liked welding, but I loved cattle, and I kind of just wanted to make it work, so I kind of took a shot in the dark and I wrote down 5 places that I want to go and work for in the States, got their numbers, got their emails, and then I gave all of them a call and sent all of them a text, and nobody answered my calls the first time around, and I sent all the texts out, and then about a day later John responded to my text, and he was like, give me a call when you can, blah blah blah. So I was actually working on a some irrigation on the farm, some irrigation pipe. I was welding and there was like horrible service, and I tried to give John a call, and the call connected, and I kind of, uh didn't he couldn't hear me and I couldn't hear him, and then I called him that night again, and then he kind of interviewed me a bit over the phone, and then he was like, all right, well, yeah, we'd be glad to have you. uh like, does Sunday sound all right? And it was Monday or Tuesday, I think, and I was like this upcoming Sunday, I was just so caught off guard, and
Yeah, for sure.
behold, I flew out that Sunday. I was there for a month, and then ever since then, I've kind of been going back down when I can and going to shows and helping them out. And I mean,
I mean,
awesome crew they have there, outstanding operation, and the whole John, Jeannie, and the kids. I mean, great family to be around, and learned a heck of a lot of stuff from John.
for sure, yeah. And what a story, though, eh? Like, just goes to show everyone that, is younger or older that's listening, like, put yourself out there, right? Like, imagine if you wouldn't have, and it always would have been in your mind, right? Like, oh, I wonder if you just give him a call and ask, or send him a message on Facebook, or call, or whatever you got to do, right? And then it just goes to show you that, like, anything can happen for sure.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's kind of going back on the don't be afraid to fail. I was like debating, writing down that list of places I wanted to go to, like, so hard. I was just convincing myself out of it. And one day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just try it. I mean, might not
Exactly.
happen, but might
Because at
happen.
that point,
Who
you wouldn't have
knows?
really had, like, you wouldn't have had too much, like, show kind of experience other than kind of what you did in BC, right?
No, I had no connections. I kind of, I was just passionate about it. I was pretty eager to make something happen, see where I could go. And uh, yeah, John kind of could tell I was eager. And I mean, starting down there, you know, like some days I'd just be like picking pens and mowing lawns. I really didn't care at the start. I just,
Sure.
wanted to be a part of one of those operations, and uh, like slowly you move up the ranks. And yeah, it's been every time I've gone down there, I've had a overwhelmingly great experience.
Yeah, for sure. I'll always remember kind of similar situation. The first co-op I did in high school in Ontario, like your first work placement that I did, was at a welding shop. And the first day I show up, and I got my helmet, my gloves, and I'm ready to go. Like, and I had been welding for 2 or 3 years at this point, and I walk into the office, and the old guy there, Jim, he looks at me and he's like, "Well, you ready to go?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "There's the mop, there's the bucket, bathroom needs cleaning."
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
that's kind
cleaned,
of
yeah, a
sorry.
welding shop that's 40 years old with a bunch of dudes, and that bathroom hadn't been cleaned in a while, and it was the bathroom, and then it was, I swept the whole shop from end to end, I think twice, and then all the trucks got cleaned. And then I think that was the end of the week, and he said, "Well, you're the longest lasting co-op student I've had so far." So, and then
Yeah,
you
that's
come in
kind of
one day, come in the next week, and I was like, "Oh, here we go." And I kind of knew he was one of those guys that you kind of gotta work yourself up. And then that when I came in Monday, he had some jobs for me, and then every now and then he'd always be like, that bathroom needs cleaning or whatever, right? It's like all those
just
little jobs
easing
that
you.
guys and gals with some work ethic and dedication, right? It's always pays off in the long run for sure when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of something my mom's always preached to me. Like, everybody's got to start somewhere, don't go like to a new place you've never been before and kind of expect to start at the top. Like you gotta go from the shittiest jobs and just work your way up slowly and yeah, have no
For sure.
expectations.
100%. What do you think you'd kind of recommend, Reed, to somebody who might, want to go down south to, work for some of them operations or whatever?
Uh, I mean, I kind of always see stuff come up on Facebook of people like operations in the States looking for help, but I like if you can't find one of those, I'd even say just do what I did. I mean, write down some places you wanted to go and uh just a phone call. I mean, guys down there, they seem like so intimidating, like this head honcho, this big operation, but they're just people and you get them on the phone and you talk to them and they uh I mean, all those guys are really down to earth and like super eager for the next generation and helping out. So, I mean, I
For sure.
just, yeah, kind of phone out and try and get your name out there a bit.
100% too. And I don't know. I think, going down there too, at least, what Sam's told me kind of going down and it's obviously, there's lots of people all over the world that have great work ethic, but I think it's something about Canadians, they go down there and I don't know if it's because they have something to prove or I think it's just a little different in terms of crew size up here compared to down there maybe and it's just like I think Canadians really take a liking and take a lot of pride in going down there and having those opportunities as well. I think it's really cool too.
Oh yeah, for sure. You're kind of the odd one out, so uh, got to prove yourself a bit more than everyone else, I guess.
For sure, 100%. Well, we got the host gets hosted question here, so if you got a question for me or a couple, I'd be happy to answer or try my best to at
Yeah,
least.
you bet. I've got two sort of lighthearted ones and then one a bit more in depth. My first question for you is, what drives you?
I would say the future. Like I think not coming from an operation and a family that showed cattle, but still a family that farmed quite a bit and still farms. I think like creating success for the next generation is kind of something that really gets me fired up and the future of seeing cattle when they get here or when you see them for the first time and then seeing what they turn into down the line kind of really gets me excited, especially I think the pair thing for sure, like seeing bred heifers and then kind of like obviously it's great to win a division with a bred or whatever, but I think kind of what everyone aims for is those animals as pairs, right, to kind of see what they turn into. And I think for me in every aspect, I think the future kind of gets me fired up quite a bit for sure. And little I think everyone probably knows by now all the crap that I build and sell, and yeah, I
Yeah,
think just the future and being innovative and trying to come up with ways to make life easier or sometimes harder for myself, I guess, depending on how you look
yeah,
at it.
yeah, you bet. Just seeing what you can make happen, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so I know you and Sam have started doing some clinics. I saw you were out there in BC and did a bang up job of it. So
Thank you.
what is some of the advice or a main piece of advice you give at those clinics? What do you use to get the kids fired up at those clinics?
Yeah, normally we kind of tell our story a bit, kind of that Sam and I both came from backgrounds without like any show cow experience. Because I would say most of those kids, or a lot of those kids, come from 4-H families that might not get to farm fair or agribition or whatever olds or any of them kind of bigger shows, right? And I think we kind of tell our story and say like anything's possible, right? Like look at Sam, like before she met me, she'd never held a blower before in her life, and now she's down south kicking ass. So it's
Yeah, there you go.
I think that's kind of one thing we kind of preach on to those clinics is they're like the sky's the limit, right? And if you put the effort in and practice and if you have a love for it and a passion for it, like give her and just make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. I know. at least in BC. Like there'll be some of them clinics and some of the kids, like when they get there, you can tell their parents are kind of pushing them to be there and they don't want to be there as much as their parents want them there. And
100%.
I mean, by the end of it, they're just like having a blast if it's a or good host for the
For
clinic.
sure, yeah, and in that clinic we had in BC, and that would have been the first one Sam and I have done together, and we talked about it on the way home how there's always those kids that you can see it and they have that kind of itch to really take to it, right, and they get it, and you talk to them and explain why you do something the way you do, and then it kind of starts clicking in their head, and that's
Hmm.
one part I love about it. But then there's also the part of it that there's some people there that have never held a pair of clippers before, and they want to learn, and you teach them, and you can see the wheels kind of start to turn a bit. And
Yeah.
that's one thing that I love is on both ends of it, seeing kids that have some experience and really see that they have a skill and a talent for it, and really take off, and then kids that might not have all that skill and talent yet, but are still there and still trying for sure.
Yeah. And my last question here, that's a bit more in depth, is if money was of no concern, would you still be doing what you were doing?
100% for sure. We actually
Yeah.
at Christmas we talked about and it really put it into perspective for me. Pardon me. We we were all sitting around the table and we said, okay, everyone gets $50 million, 50 million. Try to, and I recommend anyone who's listening to try this. Other than land, because you can spend infinite amount of money on land. Take $50 million and try to spend it. And for me, going into it, I said it's easy. It's easy. Like, but that really put it into perspective for me. It's great to have money, and it's money's great, and you can buy lots of crap with money, but you got to have passion and love for something to kind of to really enjoy what you're doing, and if I could do it, I'm lucky enough, and you're the same way. You get to kind of farm and do it all day and be outside and enjoy the fresh air for sure. But I think, yeah, if someone walked in and gave me 50 mil, I'm probably just gonna have a lot more cows kicking around. So
Yeah. Whole lot of cows you can buy with 50 million.
yeah, exactly. There's always that meme, and it's like everyone will know if I win the lottery, and it's just a field full of cows.
Yeah. Yeah. Could definitely get a couple donors.
Yeah, exactly. A nice trailer and a nice truck and all that, but yeah, they're
Yeah.
just all things, and sometimes the best stories come from like maybe not having the nicest truck or the nicest trailer, or, all that stuff. It's just they're just all things for sure.
Yeah, you bet.
Well, we'll round it out here, Reid, with some rapid fire questions. What's your go-to pump up song?
Pump up songs gotta be Bar Guitar and a Honky Tonk Crowd by Whiskey Myers. That one really gets the crew going.
There you go. We're gonna I gotta get a playlist here set up on Spotify with all these pump up songs on. We'll make the ultimate next gen pump up playlist.
There you go, yeah.
What your favorite thing to eat for breakfast?
Oh, I've got to go with Timmy's, their loaded farmer's wrap, the one with bacon and sausage. Those
There you
ones,
go.
those ones start off my day.
Favorite show day snack other than those beans that were at your stall there all week during exhibition?
Yeah, Arlana always has the good snacks. Yeah, I'd have to go with just her baking. She does a great job of taking care of us at shows, and if she can't be there, she'll surely send us with enough baking to last a whole week or however long we're at the show. So yeah, I've
For
got to
sure.
go. Arlana's cookies.
There you go. Summer, spring, or fall shows?
This one would be a whole lot easier if Agribition had a Fat Sue show, but I'd
Wouldn't
still
that be
probably
awesome?
go. Yeah. Oh, I'm dreaming of it. It'll be. No, yeah, I'd still probably go fall shows. That's a good time.
Yeah, for sure. And the last one, what's your favorite Weaver or Sullivan product?
I've got to go a fresh Teflon tiger tooth comb because when you got one of them tiger tooth combs, you know you're gonna be fitting on something with hair,
There you go.
having a good
There you
time.
go. For sure. Well, thanks for coming on, man. It was good to catch up, and yeah, we'll see you here. I guess we'll see you here next weekend in Settler.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
bet. Thanks for having me, Mitch. We'll see you soon.
yeah, for sure.
Take care.